Greetings, everyone. This is Mythicaldakka with a video that is really a long time coming, both in terms of when I actually last uploaded a video to my channel and just in the amount of time that I've owned this game. I know I don't really have much of an audience, but I actually stream this most Friday nights on Twitch with Mystery Squick. This has kind of replaced Grand Theft Auto as our main game. Actually, it was supposed to be replaced by now with Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide, but that's still having some teething issues, and so we've gone back to this in the meantime. We'll probably still split time here and there, on those occasions that we do stream. I don't think we'll be streaming this coming Friday, as of when I recorded this at least, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Deep Rock Galactic. This is made by Ghost Ship Games and published by Coffee Stain, and it's pretty awesome. Actually, I would probably put this in my top 10 all-time games right now, at least on PC. Yeah, so I was sold on this by my son, who actually, he'll sometimes join me on those streams. That would be Jolly Chaos. And he played this in early access and recommended it to me because he just knew this would be the kind of game I'd like to play. So you play a dwarf. And yeah, I'm a big fan of dwarfs in fantasy. Just something about grumpy, alcoholic, axe-toting miners. It's just very appealing to me. I don't know why. That's a buy, not a sell. And I believe the developer described this game as kind of a combination of Minecraft and Left 4 Dead. So it's mission based. You come over to the mission table here, and you pick from the available missions that are around. All these different zones. Each one is a different biome. Much like Minecraft has different biomes, but it's not open world like Minecraft is, obviously. So, like the crystalline caverns, we have several missions in there. That's a very, the name implies, very crystalline in terms of structure. Or you could have the magma core, which doesn't have anything available at the moment, and that's obviously fire and brimstone. The Azure Weald and the Dense Biozone are very similar, actually. The Azure Weald is a little more vertical, in my experience. But they're both basically forested areas, if that makes sense, for underground. Fungus Bogs is a swamp, stuff like that. Hollow Bow is basically inside a giant tree. Glacial Stratus frozen. Radioactive Exclusion Zone is like the Crystalline Caverns, but radioactive. Sandblasted Corridors is all sandstone, very easy to break through with your pickaxes and such. And there's a whole bunch of different mission types. Let's just take a look at a few here. So right here is the Mining Expedition. That's the most basic mission. That's the very first one you're ever going to do in this game. And you just go through and you try to find what's called Morkite. It's this dark blue crystal. And you'll have a certain quota that you have to meet based on mission length and cave complexity. Well, based on mission length. Cave complexity is separate from that. All the terrain is procedurally generated every time you go in. And there's usually a secondary objective as well. In this case, exterminate 10 fleas. The little bugs called Fester fleas, and you have to kill 10 of them. Over here we have on-site refining. That deals with liquid morkite. And you have to set up these pumps, hook them up to this refinery, this basically disposable refinery that gets left behind. And again, you have to meet a certain quota of that. In this one, you have to collect bulo caps, or these kind of blue and purple mushrooms. Egg collection, or egg hunt. Have to get X number of alien eggs. No idea what hatches out of those eggs, or even what the company wants them for. And in this case, you also have to get apoca blooms, which are these kind of flowers. This, I believe, is actually the newest mission type. It's been around for a while at this point, but this is Industrial Sabotage. It's basically a boss fight. You have to go into this cave. You have to shut down a couple of power generators to deactivate the shield around the big caretaker data vault thing, and then steal the data rack. Basically, Deep Rock Galactic wants to make sure they have a monopoly on this planet. I'm assuming whatever we're gathering in here must be worth a hell of a lot of money for all the equipment that gets left behind. And all the dwarves that have died to try to bring it. And progression is generally done through the assignment board. You see I have very little in the way of like available assignments. Because I've done a lot. I haven't had the courage to actually try the new hazard level. I usually play in hazard level 2. Don't judge me. Especially when I play solo. And generally, this is how you will unlock new weapons. You'll sometimes get to unlock cosmetics. This is how you will promote your characters. There's also these weekly assignments here. One gets you credits and some crafting materials. The other one gets you what are called matrix cores. These can either be used for more cosmetics or for overclocks for your dwarves' weapons. And these are crafting materials up here. There's a bunch of different kinds. So the dwarves. There are 4 of them that are basically 4 classes, if you will. So, oops. So, we got the driller. He has a heavy weapon that's generally designed for area of effect damage, because he starts with a flamethrower. This is a cryo cannon, and then he eventually unlocks what's called a sludge pump that shoots like sticky acid kind of stuff out of it, almost like napalm. And then he has a couple of different handguns he can carry. His main thing is he drills, as the name implies. You see it right there. Titanium power drills. That lets him just blast right through terrain. It does have limited fuel, and it does have an overheat mechanic, so you have to pay attention to those things. He also carries a satchel charge for blowing stuff up. Every dwarf also has a bunch of different throwable weapons. In his case, he starts with an axe, and then he has a bunch of different grenades that he can get. Actually, one of them isn't really a grenade so much as it is the lawnmower from hell. Then we have the engineer. He's kind of he's considered kind of the all-around character, because he can do a little bit of whatever you need, but he's not as specialized as the other guys are. Starts with a shotgun, as you can see right here. It's a semi-auto shotgun despite having a pump on it, and it can be upgraded to full auto. He also has a secondary heavy weapon, and that's really the main reason you want to play an engineer, is because he's got some pretty awesome secondary weapons. They don't come with a ton of ammo, but they can do a lot. By default, his secondary weapon is a grenade launcher. Primary weapons, he can also unlock a submachine gun and a smart rifle that actually has a lock-on feature and somehow can curve bullets. He also gets, for secondary weapons, a breach cutter, which fires these plasma blade things. And he also gets, it's called a shard diffractor. So basically, if you're familiar with Warhammer 40,000, it's kind of like a laser cannon. He also gets a platform gun, as you might have seen in a little video there. His main thing is his sentry guns. You can either have 1 or 2, depending on how you do your upgrades. And we'll get to the upgrades in a minute. And he also gets, what else does he get? By default, his grenade or throwable, if whatever you want to call it, is what they call a lure. It's a holographic projection of a dwarf and attracts bugs to it, so they attack that instead of you. He can also get a... I don't even remember entirely what all of them are. One of them is these little shredder drones, and that's actually a lot of fun. I don't think I'm really messing around with his other grenades too much. We'll take a look at him in a minute. The main reason I play is the gunner, who by default comes with this big old minigun. As you can guess, he is the heavy weapons guy. And he also unlocks for primary weapons an autocannon and a missile launcher. This, of course, is as of this recording. They may add more weapons in the future. His secondary weapons, he starts with a high-powered revolver. He also gets a burst gun, and a railgun. They call it a coil gun. It's a railgun. It fires a projectile at super high speed and tends to splatter things pretty easily. He also gets a shield generator. And his traversal tool is a zip line. So he fires at a higher or lower point usually to get over some sort of obstacle. And you just kind of zip along it. It's actually pretty good. At least in my opinion. But I'm a big gunner guy, so take that with a grain of salt. And his grenades, he starts with a sticky grenade. I think the driller is the only one who gets like a standard, just high explosive frag grenade. But anyway, starts with a sticker grenade. He can also get a cluster grenade. He can get an incendiary grenade that sets things on fire. And his newest one is called the Tactical Lead Burster. It's a grenade that's also a gun. Just start spraying bullets in every direction. It's great. Then we have the Scout. This is the mobility guy. By default, he has an assault rifle and a double-barrel shotgun. His main hat is his grappling hook, which only he can use. So it is somewhat limited in that it doesn't help anyone else on your team. At least not directly. But allows him to reach areas that other dwarves can't reach. He's got the highest mobility of anybody as a result. He also gets a flare gun, which is why your flares can't get upgraded, I guess, as that would kind of diminish the value of his flare gun. His first grenade is a slowing grenade. Generates an electrical field that slows down anything passing through it. He also gets a cryo grenade, so he can freeze things. He gets a pheromone grenade. Anything that gets hit by that attracts a bunch of angry bugs. And he also gets, what's the last one? Oh, boomerang, an electrified boomerang. Other weapons you can unlock for primaries, he can unlock, lose my train of thought here. Oh, it's called the M1000 Classic. It's based on the M1 Garand, the main rifle used by U.S. troops in World War II. Just obviously a more advanced version, but it's basically the closest thing the game has to a sniper rifle. And then he gets this called the Drak 25. It's a plasma gun. It's very reminiscent of the plasma gun in Doom. And secondary weapons, he starts with, I think I mentioned, the double-barrel shotgun. He can also unlock dual submachine guns and a crossbow. So he's the only guy that doesn't come with any heavy weapons, but that kind of goes with his kit of being lightly equipped and mobile. And you probably noticed, you know, a bunch of cosmetics going on here. This game is big on cosmetics. However, I should point out, there's a crap ton of cosmetics that you can unlock by playing the game. There are DLC cosmetic packs. You should not feel compelled to buy them unless you want to support the developers. So I got a few of those bits here. The armor that he's wearing here, the paint job is from the Megacorp DLC pack, and the driller's from the supporter pack. So I figured he would be my pretentious guy that goes full gold on everything. Literally everything. And then because we're dwarves, we have a bar. So this here is Lloyd. He's our bartender. And up here, the today's special, that is a buff beer. That is going to give you some sort of bonus. It does cost, there's a separate set of crafting materials that are used for beers. So that costs 2 of what's called a barley bulb. Barley bulb is used exclusively for the buff beers. Dark Morkite gives you extra Morkite when you mine it. So that's really only useful for when you go on mining expeditions. There will be other things like there's Red Rock Blaster that gives you extra health. There's Tunnel Rat that reduces your fall damage. There's Slayer Stout and another one. Both that affect your melee attack in different ways. And Backbreaker Stout, which allows you to move a little faster when you're carrying a heavy load. I don't remember if there's anything else right now. Pots of Gold is another one that comes up very frequently. That gives you 50% extra gold when you mine it. Last I heard, I don't know if it's been fixed, but the buff beers are bugged, and you get double the effect. So, let's talk to Lloyd here. Yes, your dwarf can get drunk. So, yeah, as mentioned, Dark Morkite gives you 20% more Morkite when mining. I think it's actually more like 40% more Morkite when mining because it's bugged. The corporate issue are the basic beers. You got Oily Oaf Brew. That costs 35 credits. Glyphid Slammer, which you can see, I have the supporter edition because I bought the supporter pack. That's a much stronger beer that, based on the description, sounds like really terrible. And then we have this called Leaf Lover Special that actually, so you notice the potency says Buzz Killing, that actually sobers you up. There's a few ways to sober yourself up. Maybe we'll get to that. And then there's all these craftable beers that are just here for fun. They have a whole bunch of different, often hilarious effects. So let me grab a Dark Morkite. Then we'll do a mining expedition. There's also a jukebox over here. You can come over and start up some music and dance. Over here is the shop. This is one of the ways you can acquire cosmetics in the game. These are acquired using either credits or a combination of credits and crafting materials, as you can see down here. Or alternatively, you can buy them using what's called Phasionite. This is a mineral that you can find during missions that's used exclusively for purchasing cosmetics. And you see there's a whole bunch of hats and whatnot that you can buy here. Hats and hairstyles and such. Different hair colors that you can purchase. Different skin colors that you can purchase. These, I should warn you, are specific to the dwarf you buy them on. So if I buy the ghoul skin color on my driller, that will only be for the driller. I would have to buy it again for the other characters. There's different mustaches, different eyebrows. There's different armors that you can buy. The armors are strictly cosmetic. They don't do anything for you specifically. Different sideburns, different beards. Get rid of that mug. Over here, this is where the battle pass is handled. Now, I know what you're saying. Boo, battle pass and whatnot. The battle pass is 100% free. If you own the game, you can use the battle pass. You can progress it right up to level 100 if you want. This is actually the furthest I've ever progressed it. I think I only made it about 50 or so in Season 2. We're currently on Season 3, which is Plaguefall. Which I'm not liking as much as Season 2, but that's okay. I'm still having a blast with the game. So, and it's, you have, in addition to different cosmetics you can get, like, you know, I have the Dreadful Cyborg headgear here, or the Triple Bedazzled Beard. You can get crafting minerals. You can get Phasionite. You can get pickaxe parts. You can get script, which you use to buy even more cosmetics over here. As you can see, I've got most of this unlocked right now. Not like super in love with these weapon frameworks, but it is what it is. This is the Mineral Trade Center. This is where you buy or sell minerals as you see fit. Don't usually want to use this unless you really need just a little bit more to craft your next weapon overclock, because it's kind of expensive. You buy minerals at 150 credits, but you can only sell them at 50. There's sometimes deals over here where you can get you can buy minerals at a cheaper rate, or you can sell them at a higher rate. In general, the system favors the market, I believe. And this is the forge. This is where you make your weapon overclocks. Well, all of your overclocks, I should say. Your matrix cores. Because that includes your cosmetics as well. These will generally be specific to a character. This is specifically a beard for the gunner. And then these are various weapon overclocks that add different effects. There are 3 types of weapon overclocks. There's clean, which has no downsides. There's balance, which has about the same number of downsides as positives. And then there's unstable, which generally have more negatives, but they're often more fun. Bullet hell lets your minigun on your gunner bounce bullets all over the place at the cost of decreased accuracy and significant decrease in damage. Probably because you're going to be hitting things repeatedly. Or the mole over here is a balance overclock. There's a slower recharge rate, but I have greater penetrability, and I get a damage bonus the more things I punch the slug through. A clean overclock would be composite drums here for the Thunderhead autocannon. That just gives it more ammo and faster reload. It's just a straight upgrade. Some are obviously better than others, like the armor break module for the Lock 1 smart rifle here. Just more damage against armor when all locks are engaged. It's not really great. It's a straight upgrade, but not a very good one. There's better options out there. Barrels are kickable. And if you kick enough of them in the launch bay, you'll get yelled at by mission control. He's unusually silent right now. There's an achievement that you can get for kicking all the barrels into the launch bay. He might actually just yell at you for kicking the barrels in the first place. I don't know why he's so quiet. Usually I've gotten yelled at by now. I really have to work at it this time around. Yeah, there we go. Nope, not a thing. And then, as part of Season 3, we have, this is the lithophage that we're trying to fight on the planet. And you can poke the tank, and you'll sometimes get yelled at by mission control for this as well. Oh, and one more thing. I haven't done a lot with these. This is deep dives. This is basically doing 3 missions back to back to back. And you get, I believe, weapon, not necessarily weapon overclocks. You get a matrix, I think it's a blank matrix core, a weapon overclock, and a cosmetic. Each time you complete a stage. So first you get the blank, the second you get the weapon overclock, the third you get the cosmetic. These have a higher difficulty, particularly the elite deep dives. Generally, when you do a regular mission, you get to choose a difficulty to be hazard level 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then you have to unlock 5. In the case of this, you don't get to set the difficulty. You got the regular deep dive that's hazard level 3 to 3.5, and the elite deep dive is hazard level 5 to 5.5. I imagine you get more for doing this. Oh, here's the wardrobe. This is where you pick your customization parts to wear on your dwarf. I'm actually going to switch to the scout. This is where you customize your pickaxe. It's all sorts of different looks. This over here, drone modification. This is only for solo play. This is the drone that comes with you when you play by yourself. As you can see, his name is Bosco. He's really useful. In addition to shooting things, he can also dig through dirt to open up new tunnels, and he can do a lot of mining for you. And also, he comes with revive kits, so if you go down, he can bring you back. By default, he has 2. With upgrades, he can have up to 4. And this is the same upgrade screen that you get for the dwarves, which you do over here. So you can have 6 different loadouts for each of your dwarves. And you can see I'm set up for all these different guns here. You have all these perks that you can unlock. These are your passive perks, and these are active perks. By default, you only get 1 active perk. You get a second active perk when you promote a character. Promoting means you get them to level 25. You complete an assignment, which resets them down to level 1, and it puts a star up on the portrait. Only the first one actually has any kind of gameplay feature. And that would be unlocking this. Weapons can be upgraded. individually. They have these little slots here, and this is also where you do your overclocks. So I got a couple on here. I've got electrifying reload that electrocutes targets when I reload the magazine. Or I have gas rerouting, which just gives me faster reload and a faster rate of fire. Cosmetics are handled here as well. I've got these different frameworks for the assault rifle. Custom engineered and scale brigade are both pretty nice. Builder's choice was the season 2 framework, I believe. I also have the Megacorp framework, which is from the DLC pack. And there's the stock. And then there's different skins. You have different colors for the DLC frameworks. They usually use those as their default color as well. And then there's a whole bunch of different ones that I've unlocked just from playing the game. You can find some of them during missions, either through finding a cargo crate or finding a helmet that shows where some stuff got left behind by another dwarf. This flare gun can be upgraded. Grappling hook can be upgraded. Even your pickaxe can be upgraded. Different grenades over here. So we got the IFG, the Cry Grenade, the Pheromone Canister, and the Voltaic Stun Sweeper. Armor can be upgraded over here. This is the only time your armor has any kind of gameplay effect. I don't have that. Let's give him more health. So you can have your shield regenerate sooner, or you can have your shield regenerate faster after a bit of a delay, or you can carry more stuff. And then over here you can have your shield absorb more damage, or you can just have more health. I guess it's probably 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, which one of these you want to use. This is usually a unique one, this third tier here. Shock absorbers for fall damage resistance on the scout. That's because of his zip line. He's much more prone to falling than the other classes are. And then down here, you can have a shock wave or electrical discharge when your shield breaks, or you can have temporary invulnerability after being revived. Let's see. The driller, I believe his armor gets fire resistance. Yeah. As you can see, I haven't done as much with the driller as I have with the other classes. That's because when I play online, I play with Mystery Squick. He plays the driller exclusively. I think he tried the scout once, he didn't like it, so he's just stuck to the driller ever since. Satchel charge can be upgraded. The power drills can be upgraded. Oops. The engineer, his grenades, he's got the proximity mine and the plasma burster, in addition to the shredder grenade and the lure. I want to give him the shredder grenade because I keep forgetting to do that here. And his armor gives him poison resistance. That I think affects when you take down certain large bugs. They leave behind a poison gas on death. Keep doing that. And then the gunner gets explosion damage resistance. So he's more resistant to bugs that explode, because that's a hazard. Alright, so let's since we got our Dark Morkite buff beer, let's do a mining mission. See if we can find a simple one here. Just for the purposes of this video. Yeah, there are some other mutators that can come up. Some positive, some negative. So for this one, it is Rich Atmosphere and Cave Leech Cluster. Rich Atmosphere means that you and the bugs are going to move more quickly, but your voice is going to be more high-pitched. Cave Leech Cluster means these nasty things that sit on top of the ceiling and grab you out of nowhere are going to be more prevalent. This is also in the middle of a lithophage outbreak. This is part of the Season 3 event. There is a particular, I forget if they call it a comet or a meteor or whatever, but pieces of it are breaking off and hitting the planet all throughout. This is manifested in 3 different ways. One is there's already an outbreak there, as this hazard indicates, and you have to eradicate it. The main issue that I have with it is that this becomes a main objective. When we had Season 2 and it was corporate espionage or whatever they called it, That was more of an optional thing, so if you didn't do it, it was fine. But this is kind of annoying. There's going to be a big spike and a bunch of little pustules all over the ground around it. The ground, the walls, the ceilings, whatnot. You have to call in a special drop pod. You have to grab the foamer gun out of it, foam all over the pustules. Then you have to take the vacuum gun and vacuum it all up. Once you cleared a certain amount of it out, it will go away. It'll be deactivated. There are also infected bugs that are going to be there. They're much harder to kill. If you're doing this solo, Bosco will actually vacuum up the foam for you. But anyway, so I don't feel like doing that. So we're just going to take on a simple mining expedition here. We'll see if there's any hazards that we encounter, such as cave leeches. I've gone into cave leech clusters and actually not been attacked by cave leeches before, funnily enough. But then I've also gone in and just gotten grabbed left and right by these things. This is why I consider it mandatory to have the perk Heightened Senses, which gives you warning that you're about to be grabbed by something like a cave leech or a Mactera grabber or a nemesis robot. And it gives you an option to break out of it. Although you can only break out of it twice per map. Twice per mission. Alright. So Mission Control is going to call in and he's going to tell you what's going on. These are the alpaca blooms, or alpaca blooms as we call them on stream. And that up there, that is the Morkite that we're looking for. So what we can do, hit X to bring up your laser pointer and click on it, and Bosco will go and mine it for you. I'm also going to hit C because we've got a little mule robot with us who carries our loads. Bosco's a little messy when he does this. This is available on console too for anyone who's interested. By console, I mean I believe it's on Xbox. So, sorry PlayStation folks. This is not available for you. Over here, grab another one of these. We have gold. This is the only actual metal that you find. Everything else appears to be some kind of crystal. The only purpose gold serves is money. This gets you more credits. I don't think the exchange rate is particularly great, so I don't usually spend time mining gold. Molly here will follow you on her own to some extent, in addition to being able to call her. This red crystal here is called Nitra. Nitra is extremely important when you go on missions, because this is what you use to call in supply drops. I believe it is a total of 80 Nitra per supply drop. So certain missions I like to collect a bunch of this and have like 2 or 3 come down at once, even on solos. Usually way more supplies than I end up needing, but I'd rather have it than not. And you can hear that my voice is just so much higher pitched. Depending on the mission type, you may periodically get a warning about a swarm coming in. So we'll see when and if that happens. It's usually something that comes up on a mining expedition. And then you'll just have a big, huge swarm of bugs coming in that you got to fight off. Thank you, Bosco. Assuming I haven't made the audio in the game too quiet for you, you may have heard Molly following me. These are glyphic grunts. These are the most common type of bug you'll encounter by far. Oh, there we go. All right. There's some more gold there. Mining expeditions usually like this, just a bunch of tunnels. This here, this is indicating there's a rare mineral in there. So I'm going to call over Molly, get her on her way over. I'm also going to mark this with my laser pointer so that Bosco can dig it out. Oh, that is a glyphic exploder. Normally they explode, but I shot him in the head. And this is stuff called Jaddas here, and this manifests in the form of a big crystal. Not all the rare minerals are going to be like that. Sometimes they're going to be big spines coming up out of the ground, like stalactites, I think would be the proper term. Or stalagmites. I forget which is which. See, there you go. He exploded because I didn't hit him in the head. Get some more nitro here. Generally, by default, you can carry 40 of something. So I've got 40 nitro in my pack now, so that's full. There's ways to get more space, both through upgrading your armor and through perks. I think you can carry as much as like 60 or something. I have to double check that. I can hear more of these bugs screeching up ahead. I see some more kite. Oh, there's some phasing out there too. Yeah, Bosco going aggro. Oh, the cave leech. I'm surprised I don't usually catch them that quick. Usually it's like, where the hell are they? And then I get grabbed. And then I either need to hit space to get out of it, or I need Bosco to come and save me. Alright, so that's the grappling hook for the scout. That's the reason you play a scout. Let's get up here, grab that. Let's get this phasey knight. Usually takes 1 or 2 hits to get your minerals. Breaking the actual like stone in the stage itself depends on the stage. In the sandblasted corridors, it's all crummy sandstone. You can break it in one hit. Most other places is 2 or 3. Let's get Bosco mining that for us. Take out these grunts. Get some light in here. And yeah, this is basically how a mission goes. On Hazard 2, which is what I'm currently playing. It's going to be more or less intense, depending on your hazard level. Oh, I forgot to mention the other 2 ways that the lithophage manifests. There's 2 types of meteor crashes. This can happen spontaneously during a mission, and it'll either be one large meteor or a bunch of small ones. If a large fragment hits, you have to break it open by calling in what are called rock cracker pods, which is a whole little mini game in and of itself. And then you grab the plague hearts that are inside of it. The other one is the mini meteors, and those are breakable with your pickaxe. Oops. Yeah, Bosco can fire rockets when you remember what button is which. Oh, here comes the swarm, and he's specifically mentioning Macteras. These are the flying type bugs. I need some more of this. Just pick a spot. Alright, I can actually hear meteors coming in now. We'll get the warning from mission control anytime. Makes a horrible noise. And then you got to make sure that you're not standing in the danger zone. It looks like it's just going to be one big meteor in this case. Now, I've heard that it's based somehow on mission progression, whether or not those show up. If they show up. When they show up. I've got an overclock on this this shotgun called Special Powder. It does one thing. Bounces me with the recoil. Alright, well, let's come out here so you can see this meteor. If I can figure out where it is. Alright, so another part of the cave. We'll probably get there in a few minutes. Depending on how this winds around. Oh, we've got a rival corporation event here, too. These still sometimes pop up. They don't reward script anymore. They reward credits, I believe. Get this more kite, because that's why we're here. See, we already got our Apoca Blooms, so we don't need to grab any more of those. There's a starch nut. That's for the beer crafting. Anything up ahead? I'm going to have that Rival Corp event come up soon. Yeah, I don't think there's a significant amount of Morkite there. Yeah, this is a real annoying one. More of this Phasonite, kind of in luck with that. I haven't seen any on mission in a while. And again, this is entirely optional here. Oh, we have a machine event as well. A nice easy one, so I'll probably show you that. Since it's there. So the machine events relate to your blank matrix cores. This is how you fill them. You generally get to choose between 2 weapon overclocks for specific classes. Like they'll give you a weapon overclock for, say, gunner, or a weapon overclock for, say, engineer. You get to choose. And then there will be one option for cosmetic. Unless you have all the weapon overclocks, take the weapon overclocks. Alright, so that's all done. I kind of thought we would have come across that meteor by now, but we're here for this. So this is how this particular one works. You come up to this, and your dwarf will enter a key by holding the E key. And these lasers will come up. We're basically trying to mine this thing. So we're going to get the lasers activated. And then they're going to drop in a pod with a bunch of bombs in it. We're going to have to carry the bombs over to the little mountain over here and throw them at it. There is a time limit, and we're going to be attacked by bugs. Luckily, we got Bosco to help us out with that. Alright, so here come the bugs. I'm not sure where that... There it is. You see, I got 3 minutes to do this. It's going to be a little bit tricky because we don't want to drop the explosive prematurely. You hold down the fire key to charge up your throw. Where am I going? I'm totally getting disoriented here. There it is. So this will just keep dispensing as many bombs as you need. I want to say it takes 5. So we're at 1. Here's the second one. And you can see it's the outer shell is starting to break apart bit by bit. I should note I've actually got my whole family to play this game. My oldest son, who is 23, he's the one that got me into it. I got my brother into it. I got my wife to play it. And both of my younger kids, including my 8-year-old daughter. That was weird. That just kind of bounced off. I'm working on getting my sister to play it. I think she said something like she might be getting a Steam Deck in the near future, and this can be played on Steam Deck. And there we go. That's busted open and all done. So we just come over here. And we have a little hologram that comes up. I can get a cosmetic for my engineer. I can get a weapon overclock for my scout, or a weapon overclock for my gunner. We'll do the scout. See what we get. And it's an overclock for my crossbow. Okay. Ah, here's some bismore. See, there's a little stalactite. Ah, that's the end of the tunnel. Okay. Oh, another important thing about the grappling hook is it overrides fall damage. So if you're falling, if you're quick enough, you can get your grappling hook out and grapple straight to the ground, and you won't take any damage from it. Let's come back this way. So they kind of make it look like I was going to come across that, but I guess not. Ah, here it is. Yeah, so this is part of Season 3. So we'll come over here and request those rock crackers. Every 6 play cards that you get a script. Up to a maximum amount. So, I haven't really been doing this very much because I'm already maxed out on that. Oh, the rock cracker pods are popping up in a really inconvenient place. We may not be doing this because it looks like they picked a really stupid place for it. Where are those things? Oh yeah, they're in completely different tunnels that are blocked off, so afraid not. Deep Rock got really dumb here, so yeah, I'm not gonna show you that, but we'll get out of here. This is the last, sometimes most intense part of all this is the escape. So Molly over here will have a button come up once you got your main objective done. The secondary objective is optional. But once your main is done, the big red button will pop up, and you can call in a drop pod to get out of here. But your way back, you're going to be beset by bugs. I'm surprised we've only seen Macteras and Grunts. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Praetorian yet. Maybe we'll see one of those on our way out. Yep, your pickaxe is dual purpose. It's for mining minerals, and it's a melee attack. Oh, Molly will sometimes move in these weird ways. Which is why I like to play as a scout on solo a lot of the time. So the drop pod came back in the chamber we originally came in. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes it'll even drop into the exact same hole. But yeah, so that's basically Deep Rock Galactic. There's a variety of mission types, but I'll let you discover that yourselves. This goes for $30 on Steam. And I imagine on other platforms as well. I know on Steam, you'll probably find it on sale a couple times a year. You might be able to get it for 10 or 15 bucks. And if you want to support further development, then you can go ahead and buy some DLC packs. If not, that's perfectly fine too. But yeah, so slappy the dice, and let's get out of here. I'll see you folks next time.